Hello, YouTube. This is my very first channel, and I'm a first time YouTuber. I have decided to start vlogging to help me with this very difficult journey that I'm on. Um, my husband just did about 2 years, and now he's back incarcerated again. So, a little bit about our background. We met in March of 2018. Yeah, around then. And I used to live with his aunt, and then he came to live there. And he started going in and out of jail and eventually got into some trouble that led him to an 18-month sentence. When he first got incarcerated, I was like very overwhelmed. I'm like, I'm over this. I just wanted to move on with my life and do other things because it was just very overwhelming. Um, eventually, eventually I, you know, I think the, I think when he was first incarcerated, I think I didn't talk to him for like the first month or two, and then I started going to visit him, and then shortly thereafter, I just started visiting him like when he was in the local county jail, and then I went for sentencing. I remember sentencing, for me was very hard. Um, but I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. So he was sentenced. I visited him. He was first in Cumberland, FCI Cumberland. Really great staff there. I don't know how it is behind the walls, but my very first prison, my very first time to a prison facility. I'll go through that in another video. Um, he got in trouble, um, where he was then transferred to another prison in McCary. He went from an FCI to a USP, which is an upgraded prison. Um, Staff there too, honestly, not bad. Drove from DC to McCary Penitentiary each and every single weekend, and a lot of people's like, "Wow, I was making a 8-hour drive to and from." And they only had visits Saturday and Sunday. The FCI had, and then they had visits during the holiday. So I was there, and that's how that went for a while. So, um, fast forward, at visit each and every single weekend. Then he came home. He was on parole. Well, the DC halfway house had closed, so I had went to pick him up the first time, and I had found out the DC halfway house was closed, but they didn't even know that he wasn't even being released. And I had driven all the way there just to find out that he wasn't released. I started calling everybody. I'm like, it's my husband's release day, blah, blah, blah. What can we do to get him released? And so forth. So fast forward, he probably spent another month there. And when he was released, he ended up going to the halfway house in Baltimore. I'll explain that process as well. Um, okay, let's see. Okay, so the halfway house in Baltimore. Eventually, I think he stayed at the halfway house in Baltimore for about a week, and then he came home, and he was rearrested um, for his new charge, and then he was released, got in trouble again, and then they kept him. Although he pled guilty to one of his new charges, which I'm going to explain the process of that, getting rearrested, and pleading guilty to your new charges, which is very important to know the whole ramification of what you're getting yourself into. So he pled guilty to his new charge. They only gave him like 45 days for that, but then he took a parole hit. And after he took a parole hit, Now he is in DC jail. I'm waiting to see the parole board. It's kind of my choice that he's kind of still there because when he went to his parole hearing, I was not ready for him to leave the DC local jail and return to the federal bureau prisons because right now it's a lot, no visits, they don't have tablets. It's a lot with this COVID stuff going on. So, although they're locked down, still like I think 23 and 1 in DC County Jail, which is the same for federal prisons. The difference between him being in the county jail and in the federal prison right now is that when he does have the opportunity for rec, they are able to call back to 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 back. In federal prison, they can call for the first 15 minutes and their phone will not let them call for another 15 minutes. I guess for me, it's having the ability to talk to him more. So right now he is in DC detention corrections facility. He is not in general population because when he got to the jail, he decided to fight. So he was originally arrested on October 1st or 8th, and it is now February. So um, it is now February. So he is going to be able, when he was first incarcerated, he wasn't able to use the phone. He would sneak out and do some things he wasn't supposed to. And I'll explain those in later videos of to be able to access the phone. The mail is so extremely slow in there. I think it takes like 2 or 3 weeks to get a letter. And he couldn't get packages or commissary, which saved me a ton of money. Um, but I'm going to go through what they need money for and about how much it costs. Now that he has his privilege back, some of the local detention facilities they have different websites where you can receive packages, receive secures access packages, which is really good, and different things to that nature. So again, my name is Dee Dee. I'm 34 years old. I am a prison wife slash girlfriend slash best friend, round two. And I'm going to be here with you to share my journey. I plan on vlogging every day. And it's just to get me out of the bed because currently, right now, I am not working due to COVID. So it's just to get me out of bed, give me something to do, and hopefully help a lot of people through this journey. Not only do I have my husband who's incarcerated, I have my nephew, I have a very close friend of mine that's incarcerated. So they're in a state facility. So I feel like I can help people with local, feds, and state. Like I'm the go-to girl, which is like nothing that I want to be, but that's where we're at. Day one, prison wife, lifestyle, round two.